What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the King and Me show. I'm one half of this thing, King.
Hey y'all, it's me, Michelle. How y'all doing?
And we are live the first Monday of the month, Monday, August the 5th, the day after one of the best days on the entire planet, August the 4th. And there is a reason for that. But before we get into that, why are y'all here? Well, we here at the King and Me show, we offer a real outlook on a healthy relationship. Real being relatable,
entertaining,
accountable,
and loving.
So yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday to
ya.
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
All right. So,
well, okay.
It was a day filled of fun, days filled of some excitement and some crying. I'm just going to tell y'all, I gave the most ugliest cry because of the long form of a video that we're going to play at the end of this live stream. So stick around as we get through our main topic and hopefully have some fun and learn some things about ourselves and each other. Now, we got some people in the building. Shout out to the Greek. Pete says, here comes Grandpa King. He got all the jokes. Hey, y'all, you know what? I'm happy to be 40. I told people that I was looking forward to it, that I'm excited about it because, look, tomorrow's not planned. So to have a day where I can wake up and enjoy life, I'm all for it. Now, we went to Virginia Beach, and the one thing that I wanted to do was just get to a beach and relax. And that's exactly what happened. It was Michelle, our daughter, and her friend Mallory. First of all, shout out to Mallory's parents because when we showed up to pick Mallory up, her mom gave me a birthday gift, and I was not expecting it. So to Mallory's mom, thank you for the gift. That was very thoughtful, and I'm appreciative of that. But we did some parasailing. We did some relaxing. And if you follow us on our social media platforms, we put up a video of Michelle and I feet up in the air, enjoying about 1,000 feet according to the website.
Oh, it's 1,000 feet?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow.
1,000 feet up. And y'all,
oh my God.
If you have never been parasailing, if you go to, I guess it might depend on the area. I don't know. Because when you get up high, you can hear your thoughts.
Oh my God. It was beautiful. I didn't realize it was 1,000 feet. My non-swimming behind was up 1,000 feet in the air. Oh my gosh. It was so beautiful. It makes me want to do it again and then, risk it all and take the camera with me to be able to catch those views from the sky. Because, she did say, hey, you can carry your camera, but it's at your own risk type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But those views, my mind will never forget. My heart will never forget. My camera just don't have any footage of it. So.
Hey, you know what? As a business expense, since we are a media platform, maybe we should look at adding a GoPro to our operations budget. I don't know. Yeah. Y'all, we treat this like a business, FYI. All right. But it is what it is. Now, let's get into a couple of things. We have our handy dandy calendar that Michelle made, and it is a new month, so she's going to flip it.
It's so funny. You were listening to LL Cool J earlier. Do you remember what we did August of last year?
Well, by saying that lead in, I can tell you that August of last year is when we went to the 50th hip hop tour in Baltimore, Maryland, in which it had LL Cool J, Queen Latifah, Rakim, The Roots, and y'all, fantastic concert. So I'm trying to fill some time while Michelle fixes our calendar here.
This thing, like the rings aren't circular, they're like oval, and I'm like, baby, I need you to be a circle so that you can easily flip.
And when we got there, we also saw one of your cousins who was at the family reunion, which we talked about two live streams ago.
No, last week.
Last week? It was last week.
All these weeks are running together.
Look, all right.
I'm like over here fighting for my life on this thing. Oh my. Yay! So that was a picture of us.
That was us. We look like kids in that video.
Oh my gosh.
Well, somebody still is a kid.
I'm still a baby.
All right. Now, Let's take a look and acknowledge some of the other people in the chat as well. We got Tarika in the building. She said, "Good evening, King and Queen. How y'all doing?" Hey, look, we doing fine. We doing fancy. Glad to be alive, and thank both you and Pete for popping into the chat early. We greatly appreciate that. We got Pete said, "Did you tell Michelle about you doing skydiving for your 40th?" Did we talk about that? I mean, I'm game, depending on when it happens. Why you look up so fast? I wasn't even looking at you, and I was like, it's something that we could talk about, man. I'm definitely down for doing it. I've skydived before in my lifetime, several pounds ago. I don't know if I'm at the weight limit that I can skydive. I think I gotta drop some pounds, man. Which we're also our next live stream. We already have the topic, health. Health is wealth. So no matter what, that's going to be next week's topic. All right.
Okay.
Hold us to that chat. Let's get into the episode. We got questions. And while you get out the questions, shout out to everybody watching and shout out to Perry Productions Facebook page for allowing us to stream on his platform as well. And if there's a like button, hit that like button for us. All right, so this is the icebreaker question. Let's go.
Name someone you can be 100% yourself around.
Oh, I think then you were smiling, giving it cheese. I think and I know that I can be 100% myself around you. And to me, that's important. Y'all look, I be gassy, all right? I be burping. I be doing all the things that a man does, all right? And
not all the things. I don't want y'all imaginations to be running wild. Like,
wait, what you mean?
Because men can, not all, but sometimes, they do some questionable things.
This is true. I mean, I won't deny that. People.
Yes, people. There we go. People do some questionable things.
I can be a nerd. I can laugh about silly stuff. Some stuff she gets, some stuff she doesn't. I can do what I did today. After work, I gamed a bit, right? And you were just like, I don't want to interrupt that. So do you. So thank you. Who's the person that you can 100% be yourself around?
King Smith.
Aw. Yay. Next question.
In conversations, do you tend to listen or talk more? How do I keep getting deeper? Did I mess this up?
Okay. Do I tend to listen or talk more? Now, in my current life, I believe I listen more than I talk. And I had to learn that. I had to learn to just, because I'm the person that likes to fix things. If you tell me something, I naturally want to fix it. And what I had to learn is that not every time somebody says something to me that they want things to be fixed. Sometimes people just want to vent. So I've gotten better about asking, do you just want to vent? Or may I offer some feedback? I'm not 100% there, but for the most part, I do listen more than I talk. How about you?
Listen, definitely. I want to hear someone's perspective, hear what they're thinking, and then if they want feedback, I'll give feedback.
Okay. Tarika said she listens more and that I'm in love. Hush. Yes. Hold on. Tarika said, King, you need to stop walking and go to the gym. I plan on it. That's something that I'm going to detail with Michelle tomorrow that rhymed. Hammer time. And and I'm going to start kicking things up a notch. I have zero excuses. Same. You do too.
So I went to the gym today before my therapy appointment and grateful for that. Tomorrow, my workday starts at 10:40. That's such an odd time, but it starts at 10:40. I think I'm going to get up and go to the gym as though it were a regular work day because work does resume for me next Thursday. So I think I'm going to get up and go to the gym as I would have and then just kind of go from there, come back, shower real quick, and then be out the house for my 10:40. Tomorrow's Jamaican Independence Day, so I got to make sure I have on my green and, my Jamaican flag and do it one time.
No doubt.
My motherland. All right. Which movie character would you want to be and why?
First of all, before I answer that, thank you, Tarika. Tarika said, I've said that before, King. Yes. Yes, I have.
Well, so all right, so going back to that, I recognize for me that I flow very well off of stability. So I used to walk 3 miles every day, and it was the level of consistency could come because I went to work every day. And then when the summer kicked in, my schedule was so variable, so varied that it didn't I didn't create a level of consistency, because today I could be waking up at 11 o'clock. The next day I'd wake up at 6 a.m. and like it varied. And I know that for me, someone who has ADHD and OCD, I need consistency in my life. So this morning, I realized that, especially with me going back to work next week, when I have a set schedule and this is what it looks like every single day, it allows for me to create pockets for exercise. So if you looked at our calendar for this week, you'll see I have all of my days that I'm going to exercise and the time that I'm going to exercise, because when I have consistency, I can flow better. The month of July was me traveling all the time. So there was no consistency, there was no gym. August, I'm here. I have no excuses though. Just time to get that work in.
Yes. And exactly what you just said, I agree with. And the reason why we talk about this stuff very publicly, accountability, right? Yeah. So to the people that are listening, that know us pretty well, that know how to contact us,
make sure our behinds are in the gym no less than 3 times per week.
Tap in, ask us what's going on, and don't allow either of us to have excuses. And we're going to demand the same thing from y'all. If y'all share something with us on our social media or to us in person or whatnot, we're going to help hold you accountable. So please continue doing that. Thank you. You asked
if
for
you
the
could
question.
Be a movie character, any movie character, who would you be and why?
I was thinking about that while you were talking, and I landed on King T'Challa because I know that the movie character is a representative from the comics, but I like everything that King T'Challa stands for. I like the respect that he has from almost everybody, because you're gonna have haters anywhere you go.
Why you have to pick the character who died?
But his powers and everything about Wakanda just seems dope. So King T'Challa. What's your answer?
Staying true to us, I'm also going to go with Marvel, and I'm going to say Storm.
Oh, I was not expecting that.
Storm is who were you thinking I was going to say?
Some real life, some fictional, strong Black woman.
Storm, like
true. I just realized that
you just realized what you said.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Storm. I love Storm. And last school year, so every school year we have themes that we have at the school building. Ours, I think last year or maybe the year before that, was to be a superhero. Like, and we all got to like choose what superhero we were. And I said I would be Storm. And the main reason is because Storm has the ability to control the weather. And I recognize that within my classroom, I am the thermostat. I set the temperature for how things will go and for how things will flow in the classroom, which means I have to be my best self in order for me to hope and pray that my students give me their best selves as well. So I set the temperature. I am the thermostat in that classroom. I am Storm. Hear me roar, or thunder in this case.
Who's the thermostat in this relationship?
You.
You didn't even hesitate. Respect. Thank you. I love you.
I love you more.
All right. Now, let's see. Peter did say, King, I think you more like a Smurf.
Movie The Smurfs.
Oh, you know what? It's been a while since I've seen The Smurfs. Isn't like Papa Smurf pretty dope though?
Yeah.
I could be Papa Smurf. He had the whole gray beard and everything.
Oh, goodness.
All right. So today's episode, interdependence and togetherness in a relationship. And that's something that I want to read here. For this episode, we're going to delve into the delicate dance of balancing interdependence with togetherness. We'll explore the benefits of nurturing your own interests and passions, as Michelle and I both have a lot of things that we do independent of each other, and how doing so can actually strengthen that relationship. We'll also discuss the importance of quality time together, effective communications, which we always do, and setting healthy boundaries.
Oh, it's funny. I talked about boundaries today with my therapist. Not my boundaries, your boundary.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we first got together early in our relationship, you said something to me that stood out. Do you think, can you guess where I'm going with this?
No, because I said a lot of things to you. Speaking of which, tomorrow is not only Jamaican Independence Day, but it's the 2-year anniversary of us meeting.
Yes, because it was on Jamaican Independence Day because you wore a Jamaican shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Haha, stuff that I can remember.
There you go.
That's the TRT. You said early on in our relationship that I still move like a single person.
Oh, snap. Of all the things I've said over the 2 years, that you remember? What I said yesterday?
That you love me and happy birthday because it was my birthday. Now, do you remember or can you recall what exactly made you say that?
Yes, I distinctly remember what made me say that. So King is a busy guy, right? He has a lot of friends. He does a lot of things. But the reason why I said he still moved like a single guy is because it's not that I want to go with you on every single adventure that you go on. It's not every time you get in your car, it's like swing by, come scoop up Shell. Shell wants to come too. But I look at things from a safety perspective. Like, real talk, you're still a Black man in America. And you are a very, very nice guy. And like, I just don't want people to take advantage of you. So I would always ask, like, I would ask a random question and be like, oh yeah, I just ran up to Pennsylvania real quick. And from where we live, Pennsylvania is like 20 minutes. You'd be like, oh, I just ran up to Pennsylvania real quick to do X, Y, and Z. Or I just ran down to Virginia. And I'm like, wait, when? And you're like, oh, well, I did this, whenever. And I'm just like, well, how come you didn't say anything? So my comment, you still move like a single person, is because you would physically go places and do things and not say anything about it. And it's not that you need my permission. Understand that. It's not that he needs my permission to do anything. And it's not that I want to go with him every single place that he goes. But just from like a general safety thing, I just always wanted to know, like, that's just my point of reassurance, just knowing that you're okay.
Now, when you said that, I was kind of like, well, yeah, because if I want to up and do something, I'm just going to go up and do it, right? So Michelle and I, we've been together. We currently do not live together. We have plans on moving in. And let me tell y'all, that initially scared the crap out of me.
Really? When?
Just
when was this scary
like
for you?
Thinking about how relationships progress, when it was like, okay, you are going to be around. Like, this is somebody I can have fun with and we could grow and things together like that. I was kind of like, well, it wouldn't make sense for us to live together. Although I did bring it up. We know a couple. I'm not going to say who it is, but she watches our show. Well, I know them. You know who she is. I know somebody that I'm close with that she has been married. She has gotten divorced. Her and her husband, her and her man, mm-hmm. They have no intentions on moving in together. They live very close to each other, but the person who said this almost revealed who it was. That person was like, I don't see a reason to move in. I got my own place. That person has their own place. And at the end of the day, I'm good.
And see, for me, I look at it differently. I love waking up in your arms. Like, it's funny because we were away for 3 nights, and 2 of the nights I do not remember you doing this, but I distinctly remember waking up yesterday morning and your arm was wrapped around me. And that is something that I love. I am a person who is big on physical touch, which is why part of the reason why we always sit like this. But I'm big on physical touch. So when I woke up yesterday morning and your arm was around me, I was like, of course he does this on the last day where we got like time schedules and we can't just lay in bed all day. But I love that. Like, I love that. And I want to be able to do that every single morning. So living together is important.
And see, I know that, but I can only give you a little bit of that. Because I'm going to tell you why. In my mind, I'd be like, I can give Michelle this time, but then I got to get up and do something. Something. I don't know what it is. It's just something.
Well, that wasn't you were awake and you just gave it to me. You did that instinctively in your sleep. Like in your sleep, you had your arm wrapped around me before either one of us officially woke up for the day. Like it was still 6 something and you did that. Or maybe you did it before and I didn't feel it until like 6 something. But that was just something instinctively you did.
Tarika said, "Oh, so sweet."
But yeah, like I like that type of stuff. And then the other thing about living together, combining resources. Like, and this is not, against anyone else and how they choose to do things, but in a time where every single thing is increasing, it makes more sense to have combined resources.
It could make more sense to have combined resources.
Not combined bills and debt, combined resources. To be going towards the same goal. Like, why pay rent twice or why pay mortgage twice? You could be renting out one of those places. Like, if you own both places, you could be renting out one of those places. Like, I look at it from that standpoint. Combined resources, that type of stuff, and go from there.
Do you think that it's easier or harder for, let's say, a couple that gets together over the age of 35 to be able to move in togetherness?
Oh, of course.
Easier for them to do it or harder for them to do it?
Because
Why?
that means you spent 35 years perfecting how you gonna be. Like, you spent 35 years being this independent you crafted the person that you are, and it's just going to take a longer time for you to undo it or to change or to mesh up with this new person that you're with. But you and I do things so differently.
But I want you to think about our dynamics, though. I got married young. I got married at 20. Mm-hmm. I got divorced at 34, right? A good chunk of my marriage was in a togetherness mindset, right? Mm-hmm. And then I met you 3 years after my divorce. Mm-hmm. That math adds up, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And let me tell y'all, I'm just going to look at this camera right here. And I was like, I'm going to live like XYZ. Screw getting a relationship. Why in the world would I do that? Right? I can move how I want to move. Spend money how I want to spend money, be broke however I want to be broke, be rich however I want to be rich, fly and go wherever, and all I got to do is think about me. That I did say. Mm-hmm. People want to say that I said other stuff, but I can.
You did say other stuff,
but I can confirm that I said those things. Mm-hmm. And all right, you came along. So what changed? I'm like, well, I was pretty straight up with you early on about my desires and what made me itch. And there were things that I said that I'm like, if this is going to be present, mm-hmm. then the relationship can't work because I'm going to itch and itch severely. So as we were talking about that, and I brought those to you straight up, there were things that was said that they weren't deal breakers for you, right? And there was some stuff that had to get some clarification on what do you mean by this, which is great, by the way. If you ever have any questions about something and somebody's talking to you, say, hey, pause. What does that mean? Yeah. And if I can articulate what I mean, then maybe I need to sit down and be able to think about thoroughly what it is that I want to say so that I can articulate it in a manner that the receiver, you, can understand it, and vice versa. That's how you have healthy communications in a relationship. Pause. I saw a post today where a buddy of mine talked about how marriage isn't easy. And I used to say that and then break that down, and you can say relationships aren't easy. And I hear people talk about that all the time. And I'm like, it's not false or true, but it's what you make of it. In my opinion, I don't see a reason why a relationship has to be hard. Like, and it's not to say that the opposite is true if you say that marriage isn't easy to start with. But in my mind, I'm like, Well, why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't it just be a relationship and then you communicate and you work through things? Right before we went live, actually, we had a little rat-a-tat-tat, so to
We
speak.
had no nothing.
Okay.
You had a something on your own.
Now, let's just say what, because it's relevant to this conversation. You said that, hey, you need to go move your car because of a reason. Mm-hmm. And I said, nope, sit your behind down.
Let's rephrase this because we have a whole bunch of new followers on Instagram and they are definitely from the mansphere. And I'm not trying to have them come after me. What I asked, okay, so it was a question. I asked if you were going to move your car because of something. And then your response was?
And then I said, oh, yeah. But then you got up.
I offered.
You did. And I said, sit your behind down.
You did.
And then there was some back and forth, a little bit of back and forth. And because you were expressing that, hey, there's some technical stuff that you need to do for this live stream. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, sit down. I don't care. And you sat down. Mm-hmm. And then I took a breather. Mm-hmm. I thought about everything that needed to occur. Mm-hmm. And then was like, you know what, babe? Please do and thank you.
So that's why I said it wasn't a whole tete-a-tete from both of us. It was just one-sided. And when I came back, I asked him, I was like, what happened? And he said that he created a problem and he didn't think that it was my responsibility to fix it. To which I responded, but when we're in a relationship, we should be willing to help the other person. And if one person offers to help the other person, that person needs to be able to accept the help. And that's all I was trying to do. Mm-hmm. Help you in that moment because you were doing something that was going to better us. But really quickly, we went on a tangent from a tangent. So
bring us back.
Which one do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the fact that initially the original statement that you made was that I said that you still moved like a single person back when we first started dating? Or do you want to talk about how you didn't initially want to move in together?
We can go to the move in together because the initial thing that you just said is the subject of today for the most part. Okay. So what did you have for that? Because I thought I was done.
No, you.
But maybe there's more.
That's where you were like pause, okay. And right. Then okay. So for us moving in, like I just want to say you were married for 14 years. Oh, yeah, I've only lived with a person for like a year and a half.
That's what I was going with.
And for me, it's a lot. Like I have OCD. And I know that I like things in a certain order. And it's not even so much a like, it's my brain doesn't function properly if things aren't in order the way that I need them to be, because to me things make sense with a certain level of order. Okay. You and I do things very differently.
Yes, we do.
We, even down to the basic of things, you and I do things differently. This is not me saying you're messy, because you're not. This is just me saying that we organize differently. Our brains literally function differently, and it causes us to do things differently. So that was a big fear of mine with us moving in together. Like, what is that going to look like? Is he really going to be okay with my level of things? Like, there's some things that you can compromise on, and then there are other things where it's like, okay, he's okay with it now because we stayed together for a couple of days and that type of stuff. But would he really be okay if we're locked and loaded on a lease or a mortgage together? Excuse me. Will he be okay with that type of stuff?
Okay. So far, things that you've shown me, there's been some like resistance level stuff initially, right? Because it is different.
Yeah.
But I've always told you this. You've demonstrated early in this relationship that you're not doing things that is self-serving to just you. Mm-hmm. And I recognize that. I kind of thought that a majority, so this isn't all, but a majority of people were extremely self-serving. And that the reason why I would say early on is I'm looking at screw a relationship and all this and that. So I'm like, everybody's self-serving. If this is what I'm coming across and everybody's self-serving, why am I looking for something? Why am I out here getting into XYZ? Excuse me. I can live like a free agent, do whatever the funk I want to do, and life is great. And it was. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. I'm also enjoying this. And I'm going to talk to the single fellas out there for a second. It's actually a good thing to have somebody who constantly has your back. Excuse me while I do this. Man, I swallowed water down the wrong way, and now it is not working for me right. But shout out to Free T in the building. We have a celebrity. Did you talk to her about what's going on in December yet?
No, not yet. Actually, that wasn't the person I messaged. Oh, that's a valid point. Girl, I'm gonna shoot you a text message right now because we know the way my memory set up. Let me go ahead and text you right now.
I bet. But yeah, no, I'm not afraid of it anymore. It doesn't make my skin itch. The way that I talk about things is that if something makes my skin itch, that's my way of saying, King, don't do it. Mm-hmm. And when you have that thing that gives you a reaction in your body, don't ignore it. Too often, people will ignore that thing that causes their skin to itch. Mm-hmm. And when it comes back to bite them in the behind, they wonder why. And I'm like, your body already told you why you shouldn't have done that, fool. You should have listened. King, do you have a hairball stuck in your throat? No.
All right,
I just turned 40 and apparently I forgot how to drink properly. Now, go ahead.
So there, like, that is something that weighs on me, right? The guy that I moved in with, my ex, we had lived together. He had lived with me where I was living for probably like 6 or more months. And everything was fine. I mean, granted, I was in a very dark place of depression, but everything was fine. Then when we moved in on our own, and got a place that was in both of our names, our relationship ended shortly after that, which is a reason that scares me for us moving in together. And then B, like, just gonna be honest, calmness made us bathe.
So you've only lived with one person?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was a fear thing for me. And then number 2, he jokes and he says that, like, now he does things the way that I did them because he had to get used to him living with me.
You have a good system.
I have that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a good rationale behind it.
You have a good system.
But that is a fear thing for me. Like, are you going to be okay with the way that I do things? Like, now it looks really cute that, I'll cook dinner and then wash dishes so that there's nothing you have to take care of. But are you going to be okay with us living together and me saying I can't go to sleep until the dishes are washed because I can't go to sleep with a dirty sink? Like, those are it's the same exact situation, but different conditions. Like, are you really okay with it? So, like, those are things that I think about. Are there things that he thinks are cute quirks right now? And, she's so considerate, but, like, these are must-haves for when we're living together. Are you going to really be okay with that? So,
yeah. Let's see. She said, y'all moving in together. We're planning on it. We're planning on it right now. It just simply doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so we're not moving in like in 2024.
Not tomorrow.
Yeah, no, we're not moving in together right now.
But once my daughter graduates, things will be evaluated and we'll go from there. That's how I look at it. And we've already talked about this. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 really big scenarios that could happen. And when we do, we'll talk about it very publicly.
What's your scenario?
A, summer.
Oh.
beginning of the following year.
So you mean when? Oh, okay. Yes. So you meant okay. Yes. Okay. Because I'm like, huh? What? Okay.
Let's see, Pete. When you text me, let me know because I have to. Actually, you did. Okay. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Okay. Fill some time while I interpret what Pete just asked me.
All right. So Taj got my text. Free tea, sorry, got my text. So awesome. But as we're talking about being independent and dependent and how that looks in a relationship, I just want to say I am all for King having his king time, doing things that matter to him, having his own space. In fact, it is a great contender for me wherever we live that King has his own office space, right? Like we do content together, we do content individually, but it is important for me that we live in a minimum of a 2-bedroom place wherever we go, unless we get a small house. Like a tiny home would be different. But it's important for me, even in a tiny home, that King has his own space because he does his own things and he needs to be able to work freely and independently. Mm-hmm. And not have me like hovering. Plus, not just work, like not just pay the bills type of work, but also place for his creativity to flow. So he games and he needs that privacy for gaming. And he creates content. He needs that privacy for that. So it's important to me that wherever we go, he has that because he needs that. Those are his things that are big to him. So it matters to me that you have those things.
And I like to add to that, when she said need, literally that's what she mean. When I get distracted, it's a wrap. And I have a hard time getting back into the things. I have the thing that I do called King Flow. And once I get into King Flow, everything else is out of sight, out of mind until I get to a milestone in my King Flow. And I've told Michelle that, hey, when I get into this King Flow, I still love you. Do not think that I'm ignoring you, mm-hmm. but I have to get through these milestones. Otherwise, I won't feel right.
Okay.
And I don't think I've ever explained it like that before to you, but that's exactly how it is.
Okay.
So that's important to me, right? Mm-hmm. This is stuff that, hey, we're talking about live, and I've explained that to her in one way, but not exactly like how I just said it, because that's the first time that you've ever heard of King Flow. But it's like when I get in my mode, that's what I call it in the past. Like I'll get into my mode, and when I get into my mode, I don't like distractions. And she's a pretty chocolated distraction.
It's funny because I am similar but different in a way. So I have ADHD, so I too get easily distracted, but I have to build in my distractions because if not, I will allow anything to distract me. So let's say I have an hour to do something, I know that for the most part, unless it's writing and it's writing a piece that I'm passionate about, I'm not going to be able to work creatively for an hour. So what I'll say is, okay, Michelle, every 15 minutes, you get a 5-minute break for this hour that you're working. And I'll build those breaks in, and then I'll be able to do it. So it's a little bit of a difference. And during that 1 hour, every 15 minutes for my 5-minute break, you may see that I text you, which is completely different from you, where if you have an hour to do something, you'll go in the zone for an hour and I won't hear from you for that time. Whereas you, on the other hand, you'll hear from me 4 times in that 1 hour because I have built in a 5-minute break every 15 minutes. And this is that time. Sorry, not 4 times, 3 times. This is that time where you're going to hear from me in this particular situation.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, good. Now, when you were in your prior live-in relationship, mm-hmm. do you think that y'all moved together in togetherness? Was one of y'all moving more in singleness? How did that work out for y'all?
We definitely moved in togetherness. What I will say about him, and I say this very respectfully, and it's nothing I haven't said to him. He was younger than me. He is younger than me. He's 3 years younger.
You robbed the cradle.
He's 3 years younger than me. And I was like he and I were both the first relationship where like we had lived together for the other person. So there were many things that were new, and I looked at things like my way is right, so you need to fall in line with this. So there were things that naturally he felt like, okay, I need some independence from things, like I need to be able to move my own way. And again, in my naivete, I felt that my way was right and that he should flow, which ultimately led to our breakup, but it is what it is.
Free to ask a question,
What's that?
and maybe you can go back into that. She asked, what are your needs, Michelle? I gave mine, or at least one of them anyway, but inside of a together space, what are your needs?
I need a place where I can write. Like, I don't want to say that I need a desk because sometimes I'm not in a desk mode, but the place where I write needs to have sunlight, and I need it to be comfy because when I write, I can be doing anything from writing a sermon, writing a blog, typing something, and or preparing for my next book. Who knows what it is? But I just need a place that will allow creativity to flow, and it can't be like a dark corner or something like that. Like, I can take a laptop, move around, do whatever, but I just need that one comfortable space. Additionally, free tea, because you asked, because of my OCD, and we're gonna blame it on my diagnoses at this point. Because of my OCD, I need my kitchen to look a certain way. Like, I don't need it to be ginormous, but I need it to look a certain way, and I need bathroom to look a certain way. Those two particular rooms need to have a high level of organization. I don't need my own room to write. Like King, I want him to have an office. He needs to have an office. I don't need an office. I just need a place to write, which can also be in my bedroom. But I need my kitchen and I need my bathroom to look a certain way, because if those two things are out of order, it will literally cause my mind to be out of order as well.
Tarika said, I agree. I need that free space as well. Bravo. You know, it seems like people that are creative need to have that space. I just need the tools per se, but you, Castle, other people that I know that are creative, y'all can find a spot and just like you said, as long as there's sunlight. I've seen you on a couch, I've seen you on the floor by the couch, I've seen you on the bed, I've seen you at a desk. You just, when you get in the car,
yeah,
on the passenger side.
Because I wrote my entire Monday message yesterday in the car as you were driving, and the only thing I did when I got home was just moved it over to my website. That's the only thing I did.
Was there anything that you would have saw in me that would have had you immediately, and I'm talking immediately, go, yeah, I can't do this relationship because he's moving too much like a single person?
No, I did not see you do anything.
Is there anything that could have happened?
I think one of the greatest things that could have happened, there are some things that are needs for me, that are needs, and I'm going to fall on this. They're needs for me because of my diagnoses. Like, I'm going to take the excuse route all the way through. There's some things that I need because of my no, but like organization is one of them. So something that would have been a big problem for us is if you stubbornly or intentionally and deliberately did things to undermine my level of organization.
And we had a conversation about it.
That would be a problem for me, because I'm like, I need these things. Like, my mind, it does not work. I have had breakdowns in the past simply because organization does not exist, or because I put something a certain way and someone else has moved it. Like, it literally, in all seriousness, impacts me. So like, that would be a big thing.
Okay. At what point did you go, I know that I said this one thing about King, but I see the rest of what he does, and it doesn't make me worried. And I don't think you were worried about that. It was just an observation. But at what point after that did you go, I know that this dude is thinking about us, but there's this one thing that he does.
Wait, what do you mean? I'm not sure I'm understanding the question.
So you mentioned about me sometimes moving as a single-minded person.
Oh, yeah. It's just because you had been single for a really long time. Like, you had been in a relationship for 14 years where most likely you had to at least communicate where you were going for so long that as soon as you came out of it, it's like, F that. I don't have to answer to anybody. I'm going to do whatever I want. So I just looked at it like, oh, he was just single for a long time.
I still don't think that I need to. I know why you asked me to do it. You do it more for a safety thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't live together. So, like, if I were to step out, we don't live together. So it's not like you would know that I left to go to the gym, or that I went to the grocery store, or that I went to go sell an item, which was one of the things that made this conversation come up. Like, I'm like, I go and do this stuff all the time. I ain't finna tell you every single time, babe, about to go out and sell this item.
Okay. So morbid confession. The reason why I always felt like that is because I felt like, God forbid something happened to you, no one would call me and let me know. And like, I'd be sitting at home wondering, hey, it's really weird. King hasn't called me yet. And God forbid, something happened to you and I just wasn't someone who was on the list.
Yeah. And that's fair because of our legal status.
Exactly.
Besides the things that we have updated that shows, hey, this person is our ICE for whatever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you're right. Like, folks aren't going to go, oh, hey, I know that they're on the King and Me.
Yeah.
That other person, I need to make sure that that person's contacted so that they know worst case scenarios has occurred.
Exactly. So that's where my mind would always go. And then, like, you selling things, whatever, your money, I don't care. But it's like, but are you safe about it? Like, again, I still look at it like you're a Black man in America. So that's where my thought process would always come from.
Why do ladies have bad spatial awareness? When we were at the mall the other day, there was this couple, and the lady was like sitting in the walking aisle or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And her husband, who if me and this dude would have got to scrapping, it would have been an interesting physical altercation. But as I was walking past his lady, he politely said to her, hey, babe, step out, or step back or whatnot. And then I look at him and I acknowledge, like, hey, bro, thank you. Right? Because she saw me walking and was still just right there because she was focused on something or whatnot. And like, guys are the ones that they have that space. Like, I'm pretty sure that like you've seen all the times where guys have like yanked their ladies and moved them back over.
Babe, who has ADHD? Which one of us?
I'm just saying.
Because that just came out of nowhere. Like, we weren't even talking about spatial. We were talking about spatial awareness.
Back to the subject at hand. I think people need to want to move in togetherness with somebody. Mm-hmm. But there are times that if a person shows you that they want to move in singleness, you can't change them. It's my opinion that you can't change them. You can certainly describe, conversate, try to get an understanding of how the other person thinks and feels. But ultimately, if that person shows you that they still want to move a certain way, then that relationship is done. Do you think that a person can change once something's highlighted to them? Let's say one person feels as though that their significant other is moving as a single-minded person versus somebody that moves together. And I want to say that the Better Than Perfect podcast actually had a whole episode talking about this too. So shout out to them as well.
I think the greatest thing that we as adults have to realize is that you can't change another person, right? A person has to want to do things differently for the person, for themselves, not for the person that they're with. Number one, don't make adaptations to your core being for someone else. You should do things for you, because if something happens to your relationship with that person, it could even be platonic, it could be familial, but if something happens to that relationship, then you could upend all of the changes that you've made, right? Because you did it for someone else and not for you. But when you do things for you, something like losing weight, changing your hair color, whatever, if you do it for you, then those changes are more likely to last and be lifelong. So first of all, I don't think anyone in any relationship should be expecting that their partner should change, number one, or number two, that they can change their partner. I think what you should be as an individual is willing to grow with this person that you're in a relationship with. Relationships aren't easy, and the reason why they're not easy is because it requires a level of compromise. It requires a level of you listening to the other person, you hearing them, because there's a difference between listening and hearing. You listening to the other person, you hearing them, and then the two of you deciding to walk down a path together. Not saying we're going to go left or we're going to go right, but we're going to go in the path that works best for us. And I see the way you're looking at me because I said the word compromise, and that's a hard word for you to process.
It is. But it was also, you said that relationships aren't easy. To me,
they're not easy if you are unwilling to compromise.
Okay.
Sorry. If you're unwilling to compromise.
Bet. Still the word. You're right. Compromise. Have I compromised?
I think we both compromised in many ways. And okay, so here's why I say that. I'm trying to give an example. Up. I'm trying to give an example that's like not bad. Okay.
See, this whole thing, compromise equals bad. You just said it.
Stop. No, what I mean, for example, or maybe compromise isn't the word, acquiesce. So you know that I like things orderly.
Yes. And I am not an orderly person.
You have given up on trying to stop me from cleaning things.
True.
Is that compromise or acquiescing?
That is allowing you to fly like a butterfly.
And okay, that's the definition that you want to give it. I look at it as the level of compromise. Like, it is. You're letting me do this because it's not hurting you, but it's bettering both of us, right? So it's not hurting you, King, the individual person. It helps my sanity, but it's also better for the both of us.
Time out. Let's acknowledge something for a second. The conversation about you moving the car and then me telling you to sit your behind down, and then but then you eventually set your behind down. Thank you, actually, for doing that.
For doing what? Sitting down?
For sitting your behind down. Because had you got up and walked out, that would have been...
But why would I have gotten up and walked out? Like,
because you would have felt like, well, I'm going to do this thing anyway.
No, like that's not how we work in our relationship.
Thank you. But I'm acknowledging that because I can see, like Doctor Strange, when he's got the eye of Agamemnon or whatever, all the different scenarios that could have occurred. But you was like, you know what? I'm going to come over here and sit down. And you still got what you wanted.
I still did.
But you didn't just ignore what I was communicating to you. And while you didn't agree with it,
you said you had reasons.
You allowed the thermometer to be set.
You said you had reasons.
I like that thermometer thing, by the way.
Thermostat.
What I say? Thermometer?
Mm-hmm.
The thermostat. Ain't that the same thing?
Mm-mm. Thermostat sets the temperature. Thermometer tells the temperature.
Okay.
But number one, it was your car. Like, what I look like getting in your car after you just told me not to do it? Like,
I'm telling you, some people would have still done it.
Some people would have. I'm not them.
True. But I just want to acknowledge that. So for the people that are out there, I don't think y'all understand the impact of just decisions and choices that are made between both parties, right? Like how I communicated it mattered. how she communicated mattered. What I chose to do action-wise matters. What she chose to do action-wise matters. Everything about the relationship or just life in general is about choices, and the choices that you make matters. And I don't get why people don't see that, right? Part of when I got divorced was because of a choice that I made that mattered, right? Like I you can see those dominoes that you build up and then fall down because you push this domino and that domino hit that, and then it's just a whole domino effect. And people don't think about that stuff the way that they should.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of independence and dependence, you go to the same place every other Friday night for the most part when you're available and in town, right? I've never asked to come with you because I look at it as that's guy time, like that's time for you to be with your friends. Yet I know that's where you're going. And for me, it's never a I want you to take me with you or you can't go because I can't go type of situation. It's never that. My thing is always coming from a safety perspective. So that's why I had made that comment like early in our relationship, because I think there was a part of you that either didn't know that your partner would want to know where you were or didn't care.
I didn't care.
Okay.
I didn't care. And it's not that I didn't care about you or your thoughts. It was, I got to go do this thing. So I'm going to go do this thing. That's the connection. It's that simple for me. This needs to get done. Do it. And then, hey, so what'd you do today? I did this thing and this was the outcome of it.
Actually, that's not true.
What?
So that part right there, like if I would like back then, if I would ask you about your day, you wouldn't.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. Because I'd be like, I did stuff.
You know, it was good. It was a good day. Like you don't readily share things unless there's something pertinent about it. So let's say you randomly went up to Pennsylvania, because that was one of the things that had happened.
Yeah.
You had randomly gone up to Pennsylvania, and you would only tell me if something that had happened in Pennsylvania was important enough for you to share it.
Yeah, because why you need to know the details?
Not that I want
like I'm asking you.
Not that I want to know the details, but like I'm not trying to put your business out there. But let's say you went up there and you were going to, just you were going for lottery, right?
Okay.
You would go up, you would buy the lottery ticket, you'd come back, you wouldn't say anything. It didn't matter to me. You didn't feel like you needed to tell me. Mm-hmm. Okay, whatever. But if you had won a large sum of money and you felt like sharing that with me, then you would share, oh yeah, I won this because I went up to Pennsylvania and I got the lottery ticket and then I came back and that's where I had all the money from. But even then, like there are some things that you don't tell me. And that's different for me. That is very different for me.
I like your expression when you said that and how you smiled. Shout out to Nate in the building, said, I's gonna sit down, massa. I read that in that voice too, and I don't know why. But I appreciate you popping over on, what's that, YouTube.
Yeah.
So thank you. Hey, Nate, if you hadn't already, hit the like button. What is that going? Oh, we got people doing stuff. Is that a vacuum cleaner?
I think so, yeah.
Hopefully that ain't picked up on the mic. There was something that you brought up that I was like, ooh, we should definitely make sure that we talk about this too. Keep talking.
I don't know what I said. But I think for me, a big thing is safety, right? I have never dated a man where I didn't worry about his safety or find myself concerned about his general safety. So that is always a thing for me, just making sure that that person is safe. Again, not me trying to be in his calendar and know where he is at all times. Not even me saying I want to go with you every single place that you go. Like this isn't a Kiki Wyatt relationship. You don't have to be surgically attached to my hip. It's just, are you safe? Like, I just want to make sure you're safe. That matters to me.
Now, Your schedule's about to get back to
busy,
how it is when
booked
you
and busy.
are working your career, and you and I are also talking about placing a priority on health. Do you know what that looks like for me? Meaning, I don't, I envision us having less time together because of it, right? I work my normal 9 to 5. And while I do have a it's a variable schedule, right? In order to really put in the time, I'm going to have to be consistent about actually getting to the gym and being efficient about what I do in the gym. Because going to the gym ain't about, oh, I spent an hour in the gym. What did you do during the time while you were there, right? Mm-hmm. And the way I'm kind of envisioning looking at the calendar over the course of a week, I want to be very diligent about um, working out, when I'm eating, because I do eat late, and I'm changing that, and taking care of the things that I consider are hobbies and free time, right? Which might need to be cutting down into the gaming a bit, which I'm fine with. Gaming is how I relax, but I don't need to game as much because I enjoy doing this. But part of this is the posting, the editing, the things like that. And while this is fun, I enjoy doing it. It does take time.
Yeah.
And it's a priority for me as well. As doing the health, as being a father and running our daughter to camps and things like that. So are you prepared for, because I know that you like to talk about seasons, are you prepared for this season of taking care of what we have to do to change the lifestyle for a healthier lifestyle until we get that new normal? Are you prepared for that? Because I am. And I've always prepped you about this before, but I don't know. I don't think you understand what that looks like or that you're prepared for it.
Number one, I remember when we first started knowing each other, we used to share our calendars on a weekly basis. We would get on the phone and we would talk about the things that we were doing for the week, or like we would just screenshot our calendar and send it to one another so that we could carve out time that we were going to be together. Over the weeks and months, it's changed. Okay, it is what it is. I am prepared for that because I know my schedule is getting busy too, right? I took on a part-time job this summer. Well, I started it this summer and it's going to carry through. So I know that things are about to change for me. And I thrive off of having, I know, I saw his comment.
Nah, I'm looking at free teas and laughing.
Oh, okay.
Safety, and where you at, Negro? My back just popped. Oh, turning 40 and laughing is detrimental.
So for me, like I understand busy. Busy allows my mind to function better. As weird as that sounds, when I'm holding more things on my plate, I can balance my plate better than if there are not a lot of things on there. I'm fine with it. I still stand 10 toes down on asking for our special moments. So like our anniversary is special to me. Like us carving out time.
We're gonna have to talk about that.
Us carving out time on our anniversary, that is important to me. And then being present when we are together. Like when we are together and it is for us, being present in that moment matters to me. So us both not being on social media, and I say both because it's something I have to work on, but us both not being on social media and just being in the moment of when we're together. So we have time scheduled and planned for every month for the rest of this year. Being present in those moments would mean a lot to me. We still do Thursday night football in addition to, various things. And somehow we're going to have to get in our Alabama schedule and stuff like that. Like those things mean a lot. Us being present in those moments means a lot to me.
Okay.
What do you mean we got to talk about our anniversary?
I have to have a conversation with the people that I that I'm going to be doing things with that Sunday to determine how to make that possible. But if it becomes a hassle, my safety matters first. Yes.
But we talked about it.
We'll talk offline. We'll talk offline. Now, we're at 8:05 now.
Okay. What other questions did you have?
Let's see. Fill in some time here for a second.
So the reason why I did a blank stare, again, we're gonna blame it on a disability. Although I say blame it on a disability as a joke because the reality is my brain does function differently because I do have different diagnoses. But for me, when something is scheduled, barring an emergency, it is hard for me to adapt to changes in schedule. Like it really is something that throws me off kilter. For example, if King says he's coming to pick me up at 10 o'clock, I have set my alarm to wake up at a certain time, which gives me just the right amount of time to get dressed and ready, brush my teeth, do all the things, have breakfast so that I am downstairs and ready and waiting at 9:50, which means that at 9:55 I'm stepping outside because a trauma response from my childhood, I don't like waiting for people, so I don't like having people wait for me. So if someone tells me that they're coming to pick me up at 10 o'clock, 9:55, I am outside, unless it's raining, waiting for them to pick me up. I do not want anyone to ever have to wait for me because I don't like having to wait for people. So you say you're coming at 10 o'clock. I backed up everything. I know that I need like 90 minutes. If I'm at home, I know I need 90 minutes to get ready in the morning. So I've done everything. I set my alarm clock specifically for 8 o'clock so that I could do all the things, be ready, make sure I have everything taken care of, run to the bathroom one last time. That way I'm outside at 9:55. But if you tell me you're picking me up at 10 o'clock, I'm outside at 9:55, and then you're like, oh, I'm running late, that throws a kink in everything. And like that throws me off, and it takes me a while to get back on schedule. So when we schedule something in our calendar, let me tell you, I'm the first one who, if we don't do what was scheduled, it throws me off. Like it literally throws me off balance.
And I'm the guy that flows like water with everything that I do. And that comes from packing for a trip. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like, I know I gotta pack. I know I said 10 o'clock, but I say 10 o'clock knowing that 10:30 is the time. So I'm like lying to myself so that I still have some time because I know inevitably I'm going to be past that 10 o'clock time, but as long as it's done before 10:30, which was the real time, then I'm good to go.
But see, my last name is Early, so I am always early.
Yes.
I live up to my last name. I don't need the CP time buffer. And I think that that's something that people forget when it comes to me. I don't need CP time buffers. No, you need to tell me the time that you need me a certain place and you need me to be there. Don't give me the CP thing because I run on real time. I show up everywhere early. You were talking about the person who lives 1 minute across the street from my job, and I get to work every day 75 minutes early. Like, never, ever, ever give me a CP time. Always tell me the actual time you need me somewhere because that is the time that I will be there. And on top of that, I'll be early to that. And yes, I saw a Free Tees comment. I really do. It's really a thing. I really do have OCD real bad. Like I'm very organized as much as I can handle.
It's my opinion that you and I have a healthy level of independence in our relationship for us to be able to do what we need to do without the other person.
Yeah.
Can too much independence in a relationship lead to feelings of neglect or distance? I'm a distance because you've said something about that in the past. And what can couples do to address that issue?
I think if the independence is mutual, then no, neither one of them would view it as neglect. However, if you have someone who is very, very independent and then the other person is not, or they need to feel included in things, then yeah, it will lead to feelings of neglect. I think it all goes back to like, how do people receive things? How do people process things? And you need to be able to take your partner into consideration. Yes, King.
You know, you and I've talked about this.
We have.
Very specifically. Do you remember what it was that I said? Okay. You said that it is important to you that you and I spend quality time together.
Yes.
And see each other throughout the week.
Yes.
I have said, I ain't got to see you.
Yes.
Unless it absolutely required me seeing you.
Yes.
And I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. There was a level of compromise that I believe we came to that occurred with that. And that compromise didn't make me feel any type of way, right? Because like in my opinion, right, I still really got what I came to it with, because I still feel like I ain't got to see you every day. I tell you, it's not that don't make me love you any less. But it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go out my way to go see you just because I feel like I need to see you. No, it's like, hey, I mean, you asked for something the other day. You didn't need the item, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, you know what? It'd be nice if you had it. Mm-hmm. So I did go out of my way to bring it to you, and you appreciated that. I didn't do that out of any obligation other than you asked, and I was like, well, yeah, I can do that, you know. So understand that when I say I don't need to see her every day, I ain't just out here being like, well, I don't care about Michelle. No. I'm not the type of person that needs to be and see somebody just because. Right now we don't live together, but fortunately, we're like 10 minutes down the road from each other. But if we live further, with the way our schedules are set up,
a real talk, I couldn't be in a long distance relationship.
Define long distance.
More than an hour. At this stage of my life, I couldn't.
And that's fair. That's fair.
To say I could have done it when I was younger, yes. Mm-hmm. But at this stage of my life, I am a very busy person. And I also recognize that my love language is physical touch. Physical touch ranks high for me. So I could be in a long distance relationship and that person could be doing all the other things, you know, FaceTiming and all of that. And it would mean the world to me. But I need to be able to touch my man.
That's fair.
It means that goes a long way for me.
And to me, I don't care about none of that. When we see each other, we see each other. We'll spend the quality time together when we're around each other. But when we're not around each other, you doing you, I'm doing me. And then when we come together, we come together. That's how my brain works.
So I'm going to ask the question that someone is probably undoubtedly thinking. So if you are okay with not seeing me every day and not being around me every day and not hearing from me every day, then how are we going to work moving in together?
Oh, well, because with us moving in together, again, it's not, I'm okay not seeing you every day, but living with you every day doesn't bother me. Like, it's not like a opposite thing where, well, if you're not on this side of the coin, then you must be on this side of the coin. No, like, I enjoy spending time with you. I just don't need to spend time with you every day, if that makes sense. Like, I enjoy the times that we are together. You are fun. You make things easy. It is fantastic. And I've always said, if you were an anchor or if you were a burden or vice versa, if I'm an anchor to you, I'd question why you're with me, right? Or if somebody else observed you, be like, man, all King does is take. Why are you with him? And then if you choose to make an excuse about that, that's on you. And vice versa. Like, I'm using you in the example. Yeah. But too many times people make excuses for somebody else out of obligation and maybe embarrassment. I don't care about none of that. I'm not going to make excuses for you. I will justify the things that I do and accept the good and bad that comes with that. But I'm not going to justify the things that you do because you're your own independent person. And I can't control that. And I'm fine. I am fine with that. The reason why I'm fine with that is because the actions and decisions that you make are a result of how you process things. And if you choose to do something, then you should also be okay with the consequences or outcomes that come along with that. That's how I live my life. Mm-hmm. It's, hey, there's outcomes that happen from the decisions that you make. And I'm comfortable with that, good or bad. Somebody on Facebook posted anonymously asking a question saying that, hey, I cheated on my lady. She found out. She made the decision to move out, but still expects me to cover all of her stuff until the divorce and things happen. But I don't want to do that because she's the one that chose to move out immediately versus waiting on the divorce, yada, yada. How would y'all feel? And I said, you fool. You made a decision. There was an outcome that came from it. Legally, there's still some things that can work out. So unless you get a court order to immediately stop certain things, which I don't know the law like that to fully get into it, I'm like, hey, there was an action, there was an outcome and a consequence. You have to deal with it until the judge and the court say things are split. Like, can she demand that he still pays for her rent and all this other stuff because she chose to move out? I don't know. She certainly asked for it. And chances are there are certain laws that can still apply until they're separated, until they're officially divorced. And then it's up to the judge to determine how much you still gonna have to pay, especially if they got proof and you're gonna have to pay alimony and all this other stuff. So live with the outcomes and the consequences of your decisions. Is consequences negative all the time?
No, consequence can be a good thing.
Yeah, so consequences can be, so when I say consequences, actions have consequences, both good and bad. If you make them, live with them. That's the end of our live stream. I had no transition into come out of that other than the topic that we chose for today is something that people don't necessarily think about. You inherently have an understanding about how to move together with somebody or what it might take. And I think sometimes that scares people. And I think it scares men more than it scares women. Let me just put that on Jump Street. I think it's a lot easier for a lady to assimilate with somebody than it is for a man to assimilate.
In our case,
and I don't know why. Why is that?
No, I said in our case, that's not the truth.
Why do you say that?
I say that because I am very, don't think that because I want to live with you, that I am not terrified of living with you. And it's nothing against you personally. It's just I know how I need things. And I am afraid of what happens if my needs aren't met.
Gotcha.
Like, not trying to be selfish or anything like that, but it is a thought that pops into my head. Like, what do I do if my needs aren't met repeatedly? Mm-hmm. Like, how do I come back from that? So that is something that I've thought about. And the closer we get to June 2025, the more I'm like, oh, okay, like it's getting real now. Like, when we go on vacations, okay, you make sure that my needs are met and everything, but I'm like, the max we've done that is like 6 or 7 days. No, let me take that back. I think the max that we've been together in one space was like a 12-day period.
Was it the New York trip?
No, it was something else. It was something earlier this year. Okay. I think it was spring break. I think the max we've been together is like a 12-day period. Yeah. Okay, so for 12 days we were good, my needs were met, but like, is it going to be too taxing on you for day 13? By day 14, are we going to be like, these are things that come to my mind because our needs are so different. Like, you need your space to work. I'm fine with that. Give me some place with light and I'll be fine. However, like, I need order and organization or else I just don't function properly. So these are things that run through my head. So no, I'm not saying in our case that the woman is going to assimilate easier. No, I'm saying the exact opposite. Like, I don't think I don't foresee it being smooth, smooth sailing. I have quirks. And it takes a while for people to get used to my quirks. And it's like little things. Like, remember when we went to the hotel in Philly, and I think you noticed the first time we ever stayed in a hotel together that it takes me a while to fall asleep because I have to tell my brain that I am safe, and it takes me a little bit of.
You're around thunder and lightning. You always safe.
Not physically safe, like that germ-wise, I'm okay. That there's not going to be something, and it was really after the New York trip that messed me up when I came back with like that random breakout. That like I'm okay, and this is a clean space because then my germophobia kicks in, and it's like this is a clean space, you'll be fine. It takes a while for my mind to calm down when I'm in a new space. I'm legitimately concerned about us when we move in together.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. Okay. As long as we continue doing what we're doing, which is what we're doing now, having a conversation, asking us, hey, so let's talk about this. Do you have an understanding of X, Y, Z? Right? And then the person that's asking gives the person time to think about it. And then we just kind of go from there. We do a good job of doing that. That's why I'm not worried. Yet, if there ever is something that bumps up and it hits that thing where it's like, ooh, yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. We're going to have to really dive into this one. Then it is what it is, If there is something that's a hard stop, like, I know you don't like to talk like that. I like to be real about life and things. And people, because I think sometimes people just ignore it because they want something to work so bad they choose to ignore it. I don't ignore things anymore.
And see, for me, this, my favorite question growing up was why. So if I don't understand something, I will continually ask why. And it's not that I'm trying to be difficult, but it's because I need something to get to the barest bone of level for me to be able to understand why something is happening. We have quirks.
Yes.
That, I sit back and I'm like, okay, so like, why is this a thing? Because it doesn't make sense.
Before we close out the show, let's acknowledge some new faces that we see on the live stream. New to today's live stream, but not new to us. Promote conscious parenting with the Harrises. They are a couple content creators as well. Go over and follow their page. They do some really dope stuff over there.
Happy 19th birthday to your daughter.
They got a 19-year-old?
I mean, they've been married for like 25 years.
That's what's up. Congratulations on that, by the way, which I know we already said that because, hey, if you make it to 20 is a milestone. 10 used to be a milestone. Now it's like you make it past 7, you got a real good shot because 7 seems to be that struggle year for a lot of people. But if you make it past 20, then you've hit a milestone. So salute to them. Shout out to Martin Arouge. I hope I said your name right. I probably butchered it. Said hello and greetings to everybody. Hey, I appreciate you popping in, Martin. Thank you a lot. Free T said, no fear, sis. we both are fine and reasonable people. I like
That's
to
what
think
I'm
we are.
thinking. Like,
I like to think we are.
Oh, wait. You all will be fine. Both reasons. Oh, yes. Okay.
That we're both reasonable people.
Yes.
We are. We are. And yes, we are.
What were you about to say?
I cannot say it. And it is not because I'm afraid to. I just shouldn't. That's it.
Never mind. Just gonna leave it alone.
You are loved.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for everything that you did for me and my 40th birthday the other day. There were several people in the chat that you reached out to very stealthy like and got them to send some very kind words. And there are too many people to mention, but some of them in the chat are Greek Pete, Free T, Nate. Anybody else in the chat that said something as well?
I don't think so.
No. So to y'all, very publicly, thank you. Everything that was said and put together by the people in the longer form, it definitely meant a lot. Again, I was ugly crying all up in Yard House as I was not expecting that. And I appreciated it. And to close out the show, I'm going to play the short version of that video. It is a 2-minute video, and then we're going to end the live stream. So we're going to come back next Monday, and we're going to say it very publicly so we don't change it. We're going to talk about health and wellness in a relationship and why it matters. And I'm going to actually show some videos of some interesting dynamics from couples to support this conversation that I think is going to drive some engagement and conversation about this. So I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
All right. So let's close out this show here. Free T said that it was such a sweet gesture. Michelle is the GOAT for that. She was. And look, I'm going to tell y'all, I didn't cry because of y'all. I cried more because I thought about what it took for her to do the stuff. And some people that she reached out to, I was surprised about, right? Because she had asked her, like, at what particular moment did you start crying? It was somebody that I speak to almost on the regular, but it wasn't anything that he said or seeing that person. It was just, I was like, wait a minute. You said this video 15 minutes. How many people did you reach out to get this? So it was thinking about the effort of what went into doing what she did and putting it all together that made me realize that this woman loves me and that I respect and love her greatly for everything that she does for this relationship and for me. So thank you.
Aww,
I love you.
I love you too. You're welcome.
We got to get the kiss now, then play the video,
Okay.
and then close out the show.
That's what I thought.
Let's check one other comment. Pete said, King, do I need a hug? Yes, Pete. Hug me when you come down and visit. Not you, Pete.
Oh, well, I wasn't hugging you.
When you come down and visit here in a couple of weeks. I think it's
like 2.
Yeah. So let's make sure that we hug it out full shiggity. And Tarika says she definitely don't like when people are not punctual. Look, I try to be on time. I can be better. Pete said you got Kia credit. She done already gone. Already got it done and keep it under wraps. Absolutely.
Do you know how, like, I just want to let y'all know, do y'all know how hard it was for me to keep that secret for 3 weeks? That I had been reaching out to people and that I was doing this. And King has the passwords to my phone and he will go, because we share content together. So he'll go through like my pictures, because again, he knows my passwords for everything and I don't mind giving it to him.
I also ask before I do it.
You
do.
I
just want to be sure.
But like you and I have often joked about that one video of like the phone, and it could be a skit, but like the phone is coming down and the one person is reaching for something else, but the partner thinks that they're reaching for the phone, so they snatch it back. But I had to do that because I'm like, I don't want him to see my phone. Like, I don't want him to see my phone. Like, what if someone randomly sends me a text message like right at this moment, and it's someone that King is like, well, why are you talking to this person? Like, I didn't want to have to go through any of that. So I'm just like keeping my phone close to me. I'm like, King, don't ask me for my phone. Now, you don't need my phone for anything.
Now, the funny thing is, and I'm sorry, but I think that this is real relevant to bring it in now. When you said that and you did the pullback thing, I laughed. And again, I know Michelle has her reasons, and it's not anything sneaky. So that's why it's sneaky, but sneaky in a good way.
Yeah.
So I laughed because I'm like, I still didn't put 2 and 2 together. But that's because I trust her, right? I trust her. So when she said it, I was like, all right, because I know that her reasons for doing it is out of love, not to be stealthy, not to be malicious or anything like that. And I'm operating on that until something is proven otherwise. So when she did it, I laughed. I was like, what you like? I gave you crap. Like, what you got going on?
He did. But I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so difficult. Y'all, I can't keep secrets. Not from him, at least. It is very, very difficult for me to keep a secret.
And it is hilarious because you be wanting to say it so bad. And I'd be encouraging you too. I'd be like, hey, you ain't got to tell me, right? I got the patience of Job, apparently. But if you just want to.
You didn't. The gag gift.
I didn't bring it down.
You didn't bring it downstairs. Y'all, I got him the most hilarious gag gift.
Follow our social media pages, and I'm going to just put just a picture of the gag gift up.
Okay.
All right. Let's end the show.
Okay.
We'll be back next Monday live, 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern on the King and Me, offering a real outlook on a healthy relationship.
Wait, what's today's date?
Today's the 5th. Next Monday's the 12th. Do we have something going on the 12th?
We're not live.
We are not live next Monday.
Because I have my thing.
Because you have your thing next Monday. There's still going to be an episode.
There is still an episode.
It just won't be live.
Oh, goodness. I forgot.
It's all good.
Oh, goodness.
It's a good thing we figured this out on air.
Okay.
Because we live, baby. We'll do it live.
Let me thank you for this kiss.
Bring that black dress over here.
Mwah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Wait, you got the video? Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
I got this. Hold on.
Oh.
I got this.
I did this. This is surprise.
King Smith, it's your birthday. Then you say,
King Smith, happy birthday.
Have a happy 40th birthday, man.
What do you hear? What do you say? Hey, happy 40th birthday, King. My foot.
Happy birthday, King.
Hey, Double Commander Bravo. Happy birthday. Can't believe you're 40. You're such an old man.
Hey, brother. I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Smith.
Happy birthday, Smith.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, King. Love you.
Happy birthday, nephew. Wow, you're 40. As you would say to me, I'm pretty sure, doggone, you getting old, boy.
Say happy birthday, young.
Say happy birthday, and I hope this is one of the best ones ever.
King, welcome. You made it.
Hey, King.
Happy birthday. Happy 40th birthday, man. You crossed over to the big 4-0, bro. Welcome to the club.
Happy birthday, King. Happy 40th birthday, King.
What's going on, King? Happy 40th birthday, bro. You made it.
Super happy birthday, man.
What's up, you old goat mouth trick? Hey, I just wanted to wish you a happy 40th birthday.
With your birthday, man. You about to be 40.
Happy birthday to Prince Leo 22 2002 at yahoo.com.
What up, Big King? It's your day, boy. Yeah.
Happy birthday, King. Man, I tell you what, I sure wish we were there to celebrate it with you. But me and Miss Mary, we're gonna try and celebrate it right here with you, okay?
Yeah, we have your birthday cake here.
your red velvet cake, and we're going to celebrate with this glass of wine.
They're singing happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dad.